Good morning. What we have done in our previous session was all about the spatial domain and few things, a few of the transformation functions, and that we have seen. Just it was just a kind of revision, right? Now we will start today with our fourth unit, which is frequency domain, right? Because your image is actually nothing but you can represent even into the frequency domain. Discrete value if you want for our any of the image, then also we are sampling and we are doing the quantization, right? So that is again based on the frequency, that how it hits, what frequency it is, and based on that we are simply calculating some value and we are giving intensities. But intensity whatever it is, they are known to be as amplitude, right? Amplitude means it would be based on the frequency, how highly it is. If the high frequency is there, value would be high, low frequency would be there. So based on that only you are matching that value of intensity, right? So now everything whatever we will talk, that would be in frequency domain. Okay, so let's start with this. So unit 4, image filtering techniques, but here we will talk about the frequency domain, because in unit 3 it was just given that spatial domain and frequency domain. So we will talk frequency domain actually into this year. So what do you mean by Fourier series or Fourier transform, or what it is? It actually comes from where? One person named as Joseph, I don't remember the full name, you can search about it. That was the person who has actually invented this Fourier series, Fourier spectrum, Fourier transform, you can say. That the mathematical guy, right? So based on, I mean, what was the main research on that? Why this term came? That Fourier transform or Fourier series, that is based on this. If suppose you are having any of the signal, which is somehow the periodic one, right? Of course, the periodic one, and it is actually the combination of different frequencies, right? So that he has separated all this periodic frequency. So this is what the summation of all different frequencies, and we have this, right? Or we are having this, but we are just separating out all these frequencies, right? So this is what your simple periodic frequency somewhere. This is what the amplitude of one of the signal. This is another signal, and this is the your fourth signal, means this one main signal, right? This four we are simply combining. We are doing the summation of this, and we are having this, right? So what actually the Fourier series is? Any periodically repeated function that can be expressed of the sum of sines or cosines of different frequencies, each multiplied by a different coefficients, that is known as Fourier series. That's what we have seen, right? These all are the different frequencies, right? That is sum of that sines, or you can say the cosines, right? With the different coefficients, because based on that only we are having this amplitude value. So each and every frequency are the periodic one, but how many periods or how many cycles it will generate, that is based on that. Okay. Then what is Fourier transform? Fourier transform means it's a finite curve that can be expressed as the integral of sine or cosine multiplied by the weighting function. Means some of the weightage you are giving, right? And that function widely used in signal processing field. So that we know. I think you even learned that DCM subject, right? In that you are dealing with this frequencies only, I think, right? What is sampling and all, yeah. So you already know what is this signal processing, which is the analog one. Here we will see We will talk about analog also, and then we will move on to discrete Fourier transform, because if we are working with the computer, if we are having digital image, then we have to work with digital Fourier transform, right? So Fourier series or the transform that can be reconstructed completely via an inverse process. It means that, do you remember in the spatial domain, we have that if it is strictly monotonically increasing function, then inverse exists. It is possible to map from S to R. The same thing they are saying here. It can be reconstructed completely via the inverse process. So whatever we are simply converting spatial domain to the frequency domain, we can even come back from frequency domain to again the spatial domain, right? This is what the motive. That is what Fourier series, or you can say the transform. Okay, so our main thing is what we have seen the spatial domain, right? Few of the techniques you are directly applying onto intensity value of it, so it is fine. But now sometimes it is like we have seen that low frequency, high frequency, what it is. You guys have already seen this into this DCN subject, but you know what is low frequency. Low frequency, what is the high frequency, right? So should I draw that here? Whatever I'm drawing, you can understand, right? This is what your frequency is, then you can say this is your high frequency, and so, right? So this is what your signal processing. So wherever you are saying that I just want the low frequencies, I don't want the high frequencies. High frequencies maybe are the noise, right? Maybe are the noise. So if we are applying the low pass filters and high pass filter, this two we will be having low pass and high pass. Low pass filters means it's only allowing the low frequencies, they are not allowing the high frequencies. So if whatever the point I am giving, that this is what my point, till that whatever the frequencies are there, we are allowing it, but after that whatever the frequencies are there, we are not allowing it. So that line if I'll draw, so it means that this all are comes under the low frequencies, and this all are comes under the high frequencies, right? This part. So we are not allowing such kind of signals into our application. This is what we are doing, the smoothing. Smoothing means, you already know what we have done in that. Smoothing means what? Yes, anyone from here? The smoothing filters we have already seen in the spatial domain. The use is same, right? Here the techniques will just get changed. Yes, so that for that we will have the formulas and everything that we will see. The one we have done with the Gaussian curve. No, no, not that. I mean, just I'm asking that what are the different, you can say the smoothing filters. Smoothing filters we have seen, no average. Yeah, yeah, that Gaussian curve, that is correct, Hassan. So we have seen the average filter, weighted average filter, that what we have seen, right? The main agenda was what? We just want to remove the noise, right? Because the sharp transitions, maybe they are the noise. Yes, so noise reducing, that was the task, right? That is for smoothing. It means that we are not allowing the high frequencies, we are just allowing the low frequencies. Okay, and into the high pass filter, what you are saying, you are allowing only this part, you are not allowing the low frequencies. It means what? We just want to sharpen our edges, right? We just want to sharpen our edges. So this sharp transitions, or you can say the high frequency, they are for the edges, right? Which will make it brighten up, right? And we are not allowing the low frequencies because they will blur the image, right? So here this is just what the overview. Now how we will convert, or this Fourier transform means it is having a relationship between the spatial domain and the frequency domain, because we are converting from spatial only to frequency. So spatial is there with us. Okay, spatial is there with us. The frequency domain that refers to the plane of the two-dimensional discrete Fourier transform of an image. The purpose of the Fourier transform is to represent a signal as a linear combination of sine signal of various frequencies, sine or cosine, whatever the signals are there, right? We are just representing here as a signal, right? All the frequencies, whatever the intensity it is, right? That intensity is actually nothing but your amplitude, and that amplitude you are representing in the terms of signal, right? That is what the frequency domain, because we'll work in the terms of frequency. So here you have to note each and every formulas, right? Once you will write, then and only then you will get to know. If you won't write even at a single time, you just read it. When the paper will be there, you won't be able to write anything, right? So you need to write in between. The one-dimensional Fourier transform and its inverse. Here we are talking about this Fourier transform that is in the continuous case. Continuous case means we are having the analog signal. Here we are not talking about the discrete Fourier transform. It is just a Fourier transform. Just Fourier transform means it's the analog signal. No, it is not the digital one, obviously. It is the continuous one, right? So here, if it is a single dimensional, one dimensional, u is representing just a frequency variable, just like our f of x. F of x, if it is a single dimension, if it is here the two dimensional, we are saying x and y both, right? So here this f of xy, it means that is the coordinates or the variables of your spatial domain. Same way, if we are representing our image into the frequency domain, then there would be the variables like u and v if they are two dimensional. If a single dimensional means only u. Okay, so here your f of u is equals to minus infinite to plus infinite, because this is what your continuous signal. So there would be no limit, right? F of x into e raised to minus j 2 pi ux into dx, right? Where your j would be imaginary variable, right? And here the value is under root minus 1. Inverse Fourier transform, that is f of x, because you are coming back to the spatial domain. So here you will use the variable f of x equals to what you are having right now, frequency domain variable, that is f of u. See here, wherever you will represent your frequency domain, you will write in capital letter F, and whenever you are representing your spatial domain, over there you are writing in the small letter f of x, right? So this is just what the representation, right? What the book is using, the same we will use. Sorry? Yes. Yes. 2 pi. It is only 2 pi, and ux is what you can say, no, integration, derivation. It is 2 multiplied by pi minus j 2 pi into 2 pi. E raised to j, that will represent your imaginary, right? And 2 pi ux, then du, that derivative for that what you are using, right? Here e raised to j theta, whatever you are representing for your angle, right? Because we will see different kind of the properties of frequency domain, and those properties you can see over here. Here we are talking about the angles and transitions, and this all are the properties of your 2D discrete Fourier transform. How they came, there is no description. This is only the table they provided, right? So you just need to remember those formulas. So it is cos theta plus j into sin theta, right? This is what they are representing, that e raised to j theta. So here they are just saying that here we are going from spatial domain to frequency domain. Inverse is we are coming from frequency domain to again the spatial domain. Whatever the techniques you want to apply, that you are applying at frequency domain, not at the spatial domain. Now you are working on the frequency, and you will apply your few of the techniques, right, where you are having a noise kind of thing, but they are with the pattern. Over there the spatial domain is not useful. I'll show you the example what I'm talking about is. Here it is. Need to search because I'll show you that figure, no, then and only then you will get to know. There is periodic noise. Somewhere you'll find a space shuttle figure is there. Oh, that must be there. Maybe I forget somewhere to include it. I'll show you one minute. This is what the periodic noise. Right? If we'll check this image, no, this is noise only, right? This is what the space image, right? You can see more clearly over here, right? In this image. So here you are not able to apply any technique in this spatial domain. Which one is the successful one to remove such kind of noise? Okay, so here you need to go to the frequency domain only, because this is what the periodic noise, some sine or some of the wave is there which is continuously there into your image, right, which you want to remove. If you want to remove it, what you need to do, that you know, right? So here in such cases frequency domain is only the one who is uh, effective to remove such kind of noise, right? I was not able to find that in PPT, maybe using the another version. Okay, back to this. So this is what we have seen about the Fourier transform in the continuous case, but that is for one dimensional. If you will see and if you will check about the two dimensional Fourier transform, there would be the two variables here, u and v, right? So here one is for u, one is for v, that we know, f of xy, that what you are having already. So you are going from spatial to frequency domain, right? So f of xy into e raised to minus j 2 pi ux plus vy, okay, and dx dy, that is what the derivative variable, whatever you say, right? Inverse Fourier transform, it is again possible, right, because you are coming simply back from frequency to spatial. So it is f of xy equals to minus infinite to infinite, because we are here talking about continuous case, right, means the analog signal. So f of uv e raised to j 2 pi ux plus vy du into dv. Right? Here the variables will get changed, right? No, for the derivation, because you have u and v, so you will write du dv. Here you have x and y, so here you will write dx dy. Now we will talk about the discrete case, discrete Fourier transform. The one-dimensional Fourier transform and its inverse. Fourier transform in the discrete case, f of u, because we are talking about the single dimension, right, 1D. F of u equals to 1 upon m. This m that is nothing but your number of samples you are having, right? No, m. So till that you will work. It is not the continuous one which is having no end, right? It is having the end. That end is your m. So you will work till you will start with the 0 and you will go till m minus 1. You are just doing the summation of this f of x. You are having e raised to minus j2 pi ux divided by m, right? For u equals to 0 to, that is for m minus 1. So this is for your one dimensional discrete, and we will talk about discrete Fourier transform only. So you need to write this formula. And for the inverse Fourier transform, we are again coming back to spatial. So f of x equals to u is equals to 0 to m minus 1, right? F of u e raised to same formula, divide by m. Here your x would be 0 to m minus 1, right? So please write it down. If you won't write, you won't get it. If I'll simply, slide this, no, I'll be able to finish this unit within 3 units. 3 lectures, right? So that should not be the case. Yes, you need to write this one also. So please write one for the analog signal, right? Or you can say the continuous. Because see how this formula is known, there is no description even into any of the book. Then you need to refer here the mathematics books, right? So we just need to simply accept this formula. That's it. So is it done? I hope you guys are writing here, the online students. Yes. Okay, great. Fine, so I hope it is done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then you can write for this discrete, right? If it is just one dimensional, then you can consider a single dimension here, that is u in frequency domain, and here this x for the spatial domain, because we are having relationship between spatial and the frequency domain. There is no exact formula, I mean, there is no exact direct way, but somehow we can map spatial to frequency with this formula what it is given, right? And here we have built-in functions for everything, right? So we will directly use that. We are not going to, at least for filtering techniques and all, fine, we will do everything manually, right? But to convert spatial to frequency, for that we will directly use the functions which are already available with the MATLAB, right? If I'll write no DFT and IDFT and all, so uh, actually the function is the FFT, right? But in that way we are directly converting our whatever the image is there in the spatial domain to directly into frequency domain. We'll be able to, right? So I'll show you that how this actually such kind of images are coming, right? I'll show you this into MATLAB. Okay, so this is what for a single dimension, right? Now this is for the two-dimensional Fourier transform and its inverse, right? Here we are considering the two variables f of u comma v, right? Both the variable. And if we were having previously 1 divided by m, here now we are having 1 divided by this m into n, right? And sigma, this x is equals to 0 to m minus 1, 0 to n minus 1, f of xy into e raised to minus j2 pi ux divided by m plus vy divided by n, right? M and n are the number of samples, right? So for u, the value is between 0 to m minus 1. For v, value between 0 to n minus 1, of course. Inverse is again very similar to this. Just instead of f of xy, you are having this capital F of uv, right? And here instead of minus j, you are having plus j. That is only the difference, right? So here u and v, they are the transform or frequency variables, you can say, and this x and y, they are the spatial or you can say image variables, right? So this formula you need to remember by any case. Fine, I hope you have written this. Fine, done. Okay. Now the next few of the definitions that you need to remember, that is, first one is a sampling. Now what do you mean by sampling in the frequency term? You have okay. So here the continuous functions that have to be converted into the sequence of the discrete values before they can be processed into the computer. That is what the sampling, right? So sampling theorem specifies that the sampling must exceed the Nyquist rate. It shouldn't be the undersampling or the oversampling, right? You might have learned about this Nyquist rate, right? Right. So that you can even search, right, what is Nyquist rate and what are the specifications, like, right? This should be the standard, right? We can say the Nyquist rate is a standard. So sampling theorem specifies that sampling must exceed the Nyquist rate, whatever the rate is defined. Aliasing is what? uh, by using the lower frequency in the sampled function, inverse transform is corrupted function. Inverse transform, right? By using the lower frequency in the sampled function, inverse transform is the corrupted one. The effect caused by this undersampling function, that is known as aliasing. Okay, whatever we have used into this lower frequency, right? That lower frequency, if once we are taking the inverse transform of it, right? But now this is the corrupted one. So the effect, whatever that is generated, that is known as aliasing. Very simple to remember, right? Not much description or a theory of 4 or 8 marks about this. Just 1 mark definition that you need to remember. Then here are the properties of 2D discrete Fourier transform. What kind of properties we are having? The main are these three properties. Three properties. We define the Fourier spectrum, phase angle, and the power spectrum. Somewhere I have read about this, not into this book, right, into the Gonzalez, but if you'll take the example of the prism, if you'll take the example of the prism, right, we are generally just having a normal light, right? But that white spectrum, right, white spectrum, because we are having just white light, right? From there, they are actually generating in the different phase angle the different colors, right? So we are having something else and we are getting something else. So this is what our Fourier spectrum is, again, like, just very similar to, you can say, the prism spectrum. But here, whatever the mathematical function you are giving, it will give you the different elements, right, from your signal. So this is just, you can relate with it, right? So that phase angle is again here the important term, right? This is what Fourier spectrum. That spectrum is defined as, means this f of uv into this caret equals to r square of uv plus I square of uv raised to 1 by 2. Means this is what the under root as that r square. R is your real part, I is your imaginary part, right? That is what your r and I. If you will talk about the phase angle phi of uv equals to tan inverse I of uv divided by r of uv. That is what the phase angle. How this formulas came? They've directly given this. No specification, no description on this. Right? So you just need to remember this, just like one formula of maths. Then P of uv, that is what your power spectrum, that can be defined as your whatever is your f of uv, your Fourier spectrum square, means that is your power boosting. Okay, just whatever is your Fourier spectrum, you can check. This is your Fourier spectrum, that is your f of uv. We have just done P of uv equals to this f of uv square, means square of this. So here this 1 by 2 and multiply by 2 will be nullified. So it is just r square uv plus I square uv. right? R of uv, that is real part of your f of uv, and I of uv is your imaginary part of f of uv. Right? More properties. More properties. One more is there. It's not ended yet. Okay, so just you have the expressions like Fourier transform, what it is. So you have already written the formula for that, right? No, f of u equals to 1 upon mn, the sigma this f of xy into this, right? I'm not speaking the whole inverse Fourier transform, that also you have read, right? Yes, yes, Sunny. Then yes, it is all about the discrete Fourier transform, because we are not interested into the analog, right? So we have just seen one of the formula, that's it. After that, whatever here we are seeing about the properties, that is about 2D discrete Fourier transform. So here is the this polar representation, then the spectrum again, then this phase angle, then this power spectrum, then average value. Average value is nothing, your first term into your frequency domain that you can consider as f of 0 0. This we will use somewhere further, right? This is what your very first term into the frequency domain, just like our f of xy. So we can say, f of 0 0. 0 0 means your origin, from where we are actually starting, right? But in the frequency domain, your origin would be at the middle, right? At the middle. Then you are having the frequency like to the left hand side as well as the frequency to the right hand side. So that would be your origin at the center, right? You have the four phases. You will just have the line like this, right? This is what your actual origin, and your signal would be like this, right? So either you need to do here the phase shift, right? This is what your frequency. So here this is what your origin. So you need to do that phase shifting or such kind of thing wherever we are applying any of the filters or like that. So that whole process we will see one by one, because I don't want to give you the shock at the same time. But the frequency domain is very difficult to understand, that I even know, right? Then this is what about the translation. Though each and every formula we will not ask into the exam, so don't worry about it. But at least what kind of properties are there, at least few of them, whatever you can remember, that you can write, no? Okay. If it is asked that you need to explain the properties, right? So you just need to write about this property. A single line you can search what it is actually doing, right? And you just need to write the formula, that's it. So any of the formula which you remember, that you can, right? This is what the translation, just read this formula, just read this translation that we will apply actually. F of xy e raised to j 2 pi then it's your n0x divided by m plus you can read this better into the book. From spatial to frequency, what it is converted, no, that is, we can say the capital F, u minus u0, v minus v0. So f of x minus x0, y minus y0, if you are converting to the frequency domain, it would be like your f of uv e raised to minus j2 pi mx. Projector. Yeah. When your x0 equals to that u0 equals to m by 2, because I said no, your see, your values would be like this, right? So if this you are considering as m, right? So one of the phase, just one of the half you can consider as m by 2, right? No, yes, from the origin. So they are talking about that. If your x0 equals to u0 equals to m by 2 and y0 equals to v0 equals to n by 2, then your f of xy into minus 1 raised to x plus y, that you are converting in f of u minus m by 2, v minus n by 2. Because this term we are going to use somewhere future in the further topic discussion, right? This f of xy into minus 1 raised to x plus y. That just remember this term. That's it. I'm not doing anything. Then also this is. Then the conjugate, symmetry, differentiation, Laplacian, distributivity, scaling, rotation, periodicity, separability. Right. Let's just look once onto these properties. They all are the formulas just given as a table in the book. Right. So you only are the one who need to remember this. Somehow at least few properties you need to see. Hmm? We'll simply drop it. Okay, fine. So this is what your 2D DFT. This is what your 2D discrete Fourier transform. This image, this is your into your spatial domain. This is one of the image who is having this black background and this just small white rectangle. Okay, this is what the image of 20 cross 40 white rectangle on a black background of size 512 cross 512 pixels. So this is what your image size is, 512 cross 512. In that you have just 20 rows and 40 columns, white simple rectangle into the image. Image B is showing you that centered Fourier spectrum shown after the application of the log transformation given. Once we are giving here the log transformation in detail, you can check how this rectangle looks like into your frequency domain, right? But this is what, again, discrete, so it is having some value. It is not like the analog, right? It is the discrete Fourier transform. So how many number of samples you are having, for that only it will calculate the frequency spectrum, right? So how it will looks like after applying the loop, you can check. Okay, this is what your DFT, discrete Fourier transform, right? Which is totally working based on the signals only, right? Different sine or the cosine waves you are having. Oh, so many messages. What is the syllabus for mid one? Is it U0? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Complete. Okay. Now this is what your sine wave, if it is your continuous sine wave, what it will look like into your DFT. Just two dots. Yes. Because this is what the frequency domain. Then if you are having one of the rectangle or one of the square like this, right, it will look like in your DFT something like this. Fine. Sorry? This is what your frequency phase, main origin, right? It is not directing. Yeah. Into the previous one, you are saying about this sine wave. You are talking, yes, yes. You are talking about the sine wave. Yes. So what you are saying is, this is wherever your frequency. I mean, this is what see sine wave images looks like this. That is what they have given. Where in your frequency domain you are having the sine waves. In the frequency domain you are having the sine waves. If such kind of image is given, right? If such kind of image is given with this black and white, then we are getting like this. The DFT. If once we'll apply with this formula, we'll get to know. We are already having this image, right? We will apply that into MATLAB and we will check why we are getting like this. Okay. Okay. So what is the time? Oh, fine. So we will see next time more things about this, right? See this. Yes, because this is what the translation, no, that what I said, you just need to remember this formula. So this is what it will do the, exactly the translation that we will learn. That is why I said that please remember this formula. Due to that, here your angle will get changed every time. Right? So if you are having like this, no, you will get like this. Exactly that many degree, 90-degree phase shifting will be there. So how we will do that, that I'll show you. See, actually this is what the reason. This is what I said, no, this is what your single origin, right? 0 to something. And then we are having the frequencies like this, right? So what we want is one of the period, half of the period is here and there. So I just want to shift a complete period, right? And for that you can check over here. We are having this, no, we are using this whole axis. This 4 we will shift into one of the phase, and that is why we are having that change that we will discuss in the next session, right? This is what the shifted DFT obtained by multiplying f of x by minus 1 raised to x. Have you seen this? Right, so that is what I have shown you, f of x into minus 1 raised to x, that you are doing. That is what the translation. This is what you are doing, minus 1 raised to x if it is for a single one, right? But if it is again the 2D, then you are doing minus 1 raised to x plus y both. Okay, and you can check this is x minus m by 2 and n by 2. So the same thing we are going to discuss here, m by 2, right? Fine. So that's all for today, I think. We are overburdened, maybe. Yes, that is what I'm saying. I actually couldn't found that that what I said. No periodic noise. If there would be a periodic noise kind of thing, no, you have to apply filters in frequency domain only. And if you want to restore your image, see, noise is something different, right? And the periodic noise is something different. If your image is a degraded one, that is also different. If your image is a degraded one, no, then spatial techniques are not useful. You compulsorily need to go for frequency domain techniques like Winner filter, inverse filters, that we will see. Few of the filters are there who will actually restore your blurred image into the correct image. That is what image restoration. Yes, yes, of course. Right. If there would be a salt and pepper noise, then frequency domain won't work on that. You have to go for a spatial domain filters and you have to apply median filter only, like that. So different kind of noise and the different kind of degradation, based on that you only need to apply the different filter techniques. Okay, fine. So that's all for today. You guys can write down your enrollment numbers here and you may leave. You guys may write down your number if still it is remain to write. Cancho, Kaisen, Matthews, Aba, Sunny, Silambit, Gloria. Numbers written or it is remain to write.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes?
Excuse me, my PC is stucky. I can't write my
Yes.
full.
You can write your enrollment number and you may leave.
Yeah, like my PC is stacking. That's why I couldn't write. I was trying it.
Okay, so what is the number? Just last four digit.
3173.
Okay, I've written. You may leave.
Thank you, ma'am.